Today, we're not here to talk about feel-good philosophies. We're here for a masterclass, a deep dive into seeing the world exactly as it is, not as we wish it were. This is about power, strategy, and the brutal, unblinking mechanics that really govern success and failure. So, let's begin.
Now, that's not just a suggestion. That's a diagnosis of human nature. You see, Machiavelli understood something critical. Love is a bond of obligation, and it gets broken the second self-interest comes knocking. But fear is just a healthy respect for consequences. And that, my friends, is a currency that never, ever loses its value. Think about it. From a young age, you're fed a pretty steady diet of these comforting ideals. You're told to play by the rules, that your hard work will always pay off, that kindness is the ultimate strength. And you know what? It's a beautiful picture of the world, one that's designed to keep everything stable and predictable.
But the reality? Well, the reality is that the world is a chaotic battleground of competing interests. And in an environment like that, idealism isn't a virtue. It's a fatal vulnerability. To actually navigate it, you need a completely different kind of education.
This is the absolute core of what we're talking about today. See, Machiavelli isn't a guide to becoming some kind of tyrant. He is a teacher of what we're going to call strategic immunity. It's the ability to see the patterns of power, of deception, and of leverage, so that you are never, ever manipulated or blindsided by them.
So Machiavelli's first big lesson is that you can't just operate on a single setting. No, survival and certainly dominance requires this kind of fluid adaptability. We have to learn to embody two completely distinct natures, the beast of overwhelming force and the creature of pure, unadulterated cunning.
Machiavelli's main point here is that a leader has to be both. The lion, well, that's just raw power. It scares away the wolves, it clears obstacles. But the lion is clumsy. It walks right into traps it can't even see. The fox, on the other hand, recognizes every single trap and can navigate complex situations with ease, but it doesn't have the strength to fight off the wolves directly. If you rely on only one, you are absolutely guaranteeing your own failure.
And this isn't some dusty, ancient concept. It applies directly to the modern world, every single day. Think about a toxic coworker. The fox quietly documents their errors, building a bulletproof case for HR. The lion confronts them publicly in a meeting to establish dominance. In a corporate takeover, the fox finds legal loopholes. The lion starts a hostile public bidding war. Knowing which animal to unleash and when, that's the first rule of strategy.
And this brings us right to the second principle, because power isn't just about what you do, it's about what people think you'll do. Perception, that's the real battlefield. And in this theater of strategy, your reputation is your number one weapon. Machiavelli figured out that society runs on optics. A leader absolutely must cultivate a public image of virtue, of mercy, of faith, of integrity. Now, this isn't about being a hypocrite, not at all. It's about being a strategist. You build up this huge reservoir of public goodwill so that when you have to act ruthlessly, people believe it was out of necessity, not because of some flaw in your character.
And this shows the psychology at play here. It's called the halo effect. If you build a solid reputation for integrity in small, visible things, people will just automatically give you the benefit of the doubt on the big, complex things. This halo becomes a strategic shield, and it allows you to make those tough, ruthless decisions when you have to, without everyone thinking you're a monster.
Here we see Machiavelli's almost mathematical precision. He argued that injuries have to be inflicted all at once. An amateur leader, for example, drags out layoffs over months, and it just poisons the entire culture with constant anxiety. A master strategist, though, is swift and decisive. The cut is deep, sure, but it's clean. The pain is intense but short-lived, which allows healing and rebuilding to start literally the next day.
And what's wild is that the exact opposite is true for rewards. An amateur gives a massive bonus that creates a short-term high, but that feeling fades really fast as it becomes the new normal. A master, however, dispenses benefits in smaller chunks over time. Each little reward renews that feeling of gratitude and loyalty, maximizing the psychological impact and keeping motivation consistently high. This brings us to a fundamental doctrine of power. Any strength that is borrowed, or outsourced, or dependent on someone else's goodwill, that's not strength at all. It's a leash, and someone else is holding the handle.
Machiavelli absolutely hated mercenaries because their loyalty is only tied to their paycheck. The moment a higher bidder comes along or the fight gets too tough, they will abandon you.
And this is a direct metaphor for modern life. If your entire career depends on one company or your whole business relies on one client, you're a mercenary. You don't own your own fate.
So the lesson is, you build your fortress during times of peace. You stack skills to make yourself difficult to replace. You achieve financial independence because debt is the modern mercenary's master. And you build your network when you need nothing from it, so those bonds are genuine when the crisis inevitably hits.
All right, now we're entering the psychological core of leadership. The toughest decisions aren't really about strategy, they're about managing the emotions of the people you lead. And on this topic, Machiavelli is at his most unforgiving. Let's be crystal clear here. The fear Machiavelli is talking about isn't terror. It's a deep, unshakable respect for consequences. Love is an emotion. It depends on mood and circumstance. But respect for a system's predictable consequences, that's a survival instinct. And it's a far more reliable foundation to build an organization on.
And this points to a total plague in the modern workplace, the leader who needs to be liked. That person is, by definition, a weak leader. By not holding underperformers accountable, they send a clear message to their best people: excellence doesn't matter here. The reward for being a high performer becomes carrying the dead weight of others. And that is the fastest way to poison a great team.
But, and this is critical, there is a line that must never be crossed. Fear, or respect, is a strategic tool that ensures people stay in line. Hatred is a strategic failure. See, fear is passive, but hatred is active. It inspires plots in the dark. You can punish someone, but if you take their property or humiliate them, you create an enemy who has absolutely nothing left to lose.
So we've walked through the harsh realities of power, perception, and psychology. And this brings us to the ultimate, and maybe the most important question of all. Does understanding all these ruthless mechanics, does it make you a bad person? Is this just a path to becoming a cynical manipulator? This is the central objection to Machiavelli, and honestly, the answer is a definitive no. This knowledge is a weapon, and just like any weapon, it can be used for offense or for defense. By refusing to understand the nature of this weapon, you don't make the world a better place. You simply leave yourself unarmed, totally defenseless against those who have no problem using it against you. Strategic immunity isn't about using the darkness, it's about understanding it so you're never its victim.
Look, the goal here is to become effective. It's to gain the leverage and the intelligence you need to protect yourself, your team, and your vision. It's about having the strength to build your own world instead of just being a pawn in someone else's.
If you want to keep dissecting the hidden mechanics of power and acquire the tools for true mastery, subscribe for more strategic intelligence. It's time to stop playing by the rules you were given and start writing your own.